Mom was just bawling. I remember her standing behind the island, just hands on the countertop. I'll never forget this till the day I die. And I looked back, and she's just, tears are running down her face. And I closed the fridge, and I said, Mom, I can't even say it. I've said this a million times, and every time it still gets me. Mom, one day when I'm rich, I'm going to do this for somebody else. And she said, I know you will, Robbie. I know you will. And my mom gets diagnosed with brain cancer, and like in June. And she passed away by October, but that June, she said, while she could still talk, she said, it's, where you're done talking about it now, it's time for you to go do it.
Welcome to Loans Elevated, the podcast that brings you the latest industry news, expert interviews, and insightful discussions that will help you stay ahead in this dynamic market. I'm your host, Broch Lassig, and I've spent years in the trenches of the mortgage industry, helping individuals and businesses navigate the complex landscape of real estate financing.
I'm your co-host, TJ Heidenreich, and together we'll cover a wide range of topics, from business strategies that skyrocket your success to mindset and motivation that fuel your growth.
All right, everybody, welcome back to an episode of Loans Elevated. Now, today we have a very, very special guest, and it's a little bit of a unique episode for us, but very timely because we're leading into the holiday seasons, and I've got a good friend of mine, Rob Adams, here, and he's the founder of Thanksgiving Heroes, which is a very powerful philanthropic company that provides meals for families during the holidays, specifically for Thanksgiving in part. And it's a powerful thing. So, Rob, I wanted to bring you on, one, show your company praise, hopefully get the word out further. I mean, you do a good job at that already, but get the word out more with our listeners and the people that follow us. Why don't you tell everybody who hasn't already heard it how this company was founded, because it's such a meaningful story.
Well, before I get started, number one, thank you very much for having me on the podcast. Yeah. I'm excited to be here. Huge fan, long-time listener, first-time caller. Like a radio show.
It's the new age radio.
And I'm excited to be a part of the podcast. This all started 9 years ago. I had the idea. Truth be told, it actually started when I was 11. Which is a lot longer ago than I care to admit.
Like 15 years ago or so.
Yeah. And a family, the Christiansen family, came to my home. And I say my home, we lived on a piece of land in Porter, Texas. And we lived out of our pickup truck. We had a Dodge, 3 on the tree, solid, straight 6. That was a beautiful truck. And my mom and dad would sleep in the cab, and us kids would sleep in the bed of the truck. And we had a pair of clothes for school that I would wear every day at school. And then I had a special pair of clothes for church. And I didn't know back then that we were poor. I think about that now as a dad. I've got 4 daughters, and I think if I was in a position where I couldn't provide shelter for my kids, would I have the mental stability to still have fun with them and make it an adventure? I thought we were camping.
Right.
It was awesome. I was having a wonderful time. Every day I was outside all day, which my dad was an outdoorsman, and so we loved being in the woods, and Texas has some pretty dense woods, and so we had a great time just goofing around, hiking, chasing the trails, riding our bikes. But as things, that year, as things became colder, it was during the recession, and my dad was fired because he wouldn't lie about upselling parts. He was an HVAC guy, and the company wanted him to go in and say, you need to buy this. And he was like, well, it's not broken. That's not what's the problem. And they're like, well, you sell it anyway. And
this was during the Great Recession?
Yeah, the Great Recession.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right to the 08 era.
The 80s, even before
that. Okay.
So
way back.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so he wouldn't lie, and he lost his job. And we had driven there from Las Vegas, where we owned a home. We sold everything. We moved down to Texas, and we pulled in on fumes, basically. And then Dad lost his job. And so we went from a place of relative security to a place of insecurity in a hurry. And it wasn't because of any irresponsibility on my parents' part. It was the economy, and it was the decision that my dad made.
Well, the crazy thing is, dude, that I haven't heard this before, but it was your dad's integrity that ultimately put him in a bind. But he stayed true to it. And that's impressive that he, to your point, I hadn't heard this part of the story either, or maybe I wasn't listening well enough, but for him to have, like, I can tell you in my life today, I sometimes go home and I don't bring my best self home because of my stress that I have.
Yeah.
And I'm blessed beyond belief. Like for that's an inspiration right there. For your dad to be able to help, or I guess give you guys a life on a day-to-day basis, going through all of that stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
And you guys thought you were just having fun. I mean, that's impressive, dude.
Yeah. As a dad, I really get that now. As a kid, I didn't fully understand that, the position that my folks were in. The first time that it really occurred to me, this family came in from a place called Kingwood, which is just right there by Porter. It really, the name is reflective, Porter and Kingwood. This place was where the rich folks lived. They had indoor plumbing.
Wow. Yeah, it's impressive stuff.
Yeah, they slept in a house inside. But the thing that impressed me the most is they took us to their home. This family was actually from Utah, and they would come back during the holidays, and they would spend the time with their family. And so the house was empty. And so they decided this year for Christmas, they were going to give their house to us as a present. What's more is that under the tree was presents for my family. And this was before Sub for Santa was even really a thing.
Wow.
I had never heard of such generosity. And I went from one pair of clothes to I had like a jumpsuit, like I had gym clothes, and I had tennis shoes and all these cool things. But the thing that impressed me the most, Broch, was that in the house, they had stocked the kitchen, and it was clear full of food. And I remember opening up that refrigerator and there being that pumpkin pie on the top shelf,
Wow.
And I just remember being just moved to tears, like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to eat so good. And the family's like, all this is yours. This is yours. The whole house is yours. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. Enjoy yourself. Just amazing generosity. And my mom was just bawling. I remember her standing behind the island, just hands on the countertop. I'll never forget this till the day I die. And I looked back, and she's just, tears are running down her face. And I closed the fridge, and I said, Mom, I can't even say it. I've said this a million times, and every time it still gets me. Mom, one day when I'm rich, I'm going to do this for somebody else. And she said, I know you will, Robbie. I know you will.
Wow.
And that was it. That was the promise that I made. Fast forward, now I'm in selling real estate. I've been in real estate now for 2 years when I was thinking about this, or 3. And I was just being blessed. Business was good. I was hustling, working hard, making friends, and finding amazing clients. And my mom gets diagnosed with brain cancer, and like in June. And she passed away by October, but that June, she said, while she could still talk, she said, where you're done talking about it, now it's time for you to go do it.
Oh,
She
wow.
called
She
me
called you out.
Like only moms can. If it would have been anyone else, I'd have been like, leave me alone. Get away from me.
Holy cow, dude, that's heavy.
Yeah, so she calls me out, and I'm like, okay, I can feed 10 families. And so I go talk to my friend Joe Gordon.
Yep.
You've met Joe before, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to do 10 families. And he like gets out his checkbook like, I can do 10 families. And I went, there's another gal, and so it went. And the first year, we fed 755 families.
Wow.
It was bananas. I went to the school district. This is the part that blew me away. I went to the school district, and there was a gal there named Nancy Ward. She was a longtime school teacher, educator, and I went in, and I sat down before her, and I said, hey, this is my plan. I want to feed, right now we've got maybe 20 or 30 families. And she said, hey, we just got funding cut for Thanksgiving. There's people lining up for Christmas. And I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is my holiday. It's food, football, gratitude, no weird gift dynamic.
Yeah,
Like, it's just,
just family time.
Yeah, and grub. Like, let's get her.
Yep.
And she's like, and 1 in 10 kids here don't eat unless they're at school. And so for that whole week, they're going without food. We just lost our funding. This is kind of an answer to our prayers.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, Thanksgiving it is. This is the holiday that I want to do. And she's like, Christmas, don't worry about it. There's people lining up for Christmas, but Thanksgiving is an overlooked holiday. Yeah. And so we picked Thanksgiving, and I ended up raising all this money. I went to the grocery stores, and they're like, you want 755 turkeys? We'll give you a deal. And how about if we deliver it? And they were very generous. Associated Foods are amazing, amazing company. And that first day, I sat up in bed, and I hadn't considered any of the logistics. I'm not a logistics guy. I'm a big vision guy. Yeah. And so I rolled out of bed, and I'm like, gosh, I hope people come. I hadn't even I talked about it on social media. I talked about it with a lot of people. There were strangers there that I had never met. People that just the message had been passed from one person to the next person. And then we fed those families. They the school district had it all organized, how the food would be sorted and how it would get out to the cars. I had never even occurred to me we've got to get the food off the truck somehow and get it into people's cars.
Well, and now, for those of you who haven't attended, you should this year. If you go to the event, the big day where you're delivering these meals, it's a really powerful experience to take your family to. But now you go through what are you, 5, 6, 7 years in? How many years in are we now?
Our 9th year.
9th year. 9 years in, it's literally the most efficient thing I've ever seen in my life. Like last year, I've been every year, and I was blown away last year.
So good,
so
right?
yeah, from that, lost, dazed, and confused, not even knowing that you had to think about this stuff, to like the most organized event. It's pretty awesome.
I would like to take credit for that, but I can't. It's just been lucky as I've gone along these past 9 years. I've found amazing people. Jenny Griffin, my director of operations, and others who are just much smarter than I am. Spectrum Solutions, Bill Phillips, amazing. These people in the community raising their hands saying, we can do this better. We can do it smarter.
Yeah.
And we can make this, it's turned into, my goal is to have this a world-class customer experience or client experience coming through. When you come through, I want you to see these two different football teams that have signed up to load cars, and there's a DJ playing music, and they're dance fighting in the middle, and you get the Women's Council of Realtors on this side and a motorcycle gang on this side, and just all these people are coming together because it doesn't matter if you're left or right. We all agree that kids shouldn't be hungry.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's just it's almost like a carnival.
Right.
And you pull on through and stop out and get coffee, come shake hands, and you're on your way. And the next thing you know, you're delivering food to 4 families that wouldn't eat unless you showed up. You are the hero, Thanksgiving's hero. And you can bring your kids along, and they go from that entitlement to gratitude in just seconds. Like they're like, gosh, Dad, our life is so good.
Yeah.
Because my kids want for nothing. Like they're worried about the next cell phone that they're going to get or whatever, rather than worried about where are they going to get their next meal from.
Yeah. And so much of the experience, I can speak for myself with my kids. I've got very young kids, 6 and 4 now. So last year, 5 and 3. But even us driving as a family, there were questions like, what are we doing? And I'm explaining to them, and I can see light bulbs going off like,
That's a thing?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like they don't have, so you're telling me they don't just have the stuff in the fridge?
Yeah, they can't just
Like
walk into the pantry.
Yeah. And they walked up to the door and saw the other young kids. It's a cool experience.
Well, that's a secret sauce, Brock. It's not about the food.
Right.
It's about families serving families. I feel like our world has become so isolated almost that the opportunity for me to look into someone's eyes and meaningfully tell them, I love you, there's hope, you matter, that's where it's at. Like these people need this. The food is important, don't get me wrong, they have to eat. But if you're in a hopeless position and a stranger shows up and loves on you, and the script that I give out, because invariably you're asked, well, how did I get on this list? How am I getting this food? The script is someone in the community must love you very much. I want them to go into the community thinking, who is it?
Right.
Who is it that nominated me? Who loves me that
now
much?
It's the law of reciprocity, right? Now
Yes.
they're going and they're loving on people because they got loved on, and it's like, yeah. And the crazy thing is, to your point, like these interactions. I don't know what word you just said, but it struck me as maybe not the right word. It's more like we are so divided.
Yeah.
It's politics that have divided us. It's all these social weird things and we all forget, like, who cares who the hell you voted for?
Yeah.
None of this stuff matters.
Yeah.
We're humans. We have families. We all, deep down inside, like, we all have a good heart. We all have good intentions. And so much of that's forgotten. And so it is a unique opportunity to be able to just let the guard down and go forward with love.
Right.
Like, and it's a powerful experience.
It's the greatest illusion that's happening in our world right now is that there's an illusion of separateness.
Yeah.
And the truth is that if you're doing good, I'm doing good.
Right.
You are me, I am you. Let me help you be better so that I can be better.
100%.
If we can have that kind of an attitude, I could never hurt you.
Right.
Because I would be hurting me.
Right.
And the world needs more of that attitude rather than I'm helping strangers. I'm not helping strangers. I'm helping me. Yeah. When I show up and I deliver the food, when we have the big day, guess who's blessed the most? The people delivering the food.
By far.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It's amazing.
You feel so good afterwards.
Right.
And it's like there's so many emotions and so much. It's all good. But it's almost like, when you go through those experiences when somebody close to you passes away and you kind of think about life a little differently.
Yeah.
This day kind of brings that same level of significance.
Right.
You start thinking about things like, man, maybe I'm taking things for granted. Maybe, you know, like
Maybe I'm taking things too serious.
100%, which is my issue most of the time.
Oh, and so that's the secret. That's the secret, is showing up and then going out there. And before we start, we kind of get together. We have a prayer, and the prayer that we always offer is, please give us the opportunity to serve and love one another. These people that are coming through the line, let them know how much we appreciate them. Let them know how much we love them, because that's what it's about. I want you to pull in and just feel the vibration, and then you're going to take that vibration to the family, and then they're going to increase it, and then you're going to go home, and it's going to grow more right through the holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't
right.
that awesome?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Best worst idea I've ever had.
Yeah, it's excellent. So, I mean, I've been around this literally as long as I can remember. I've been around your company, Thanksgiving Heroes, and I've never heard the story quite like that. There was more meaning to the story now for me even. So I hope everybody listening, even if you've heard that story before, rewind and re-listen to that. There's a lot of meaning to it. But
I don't want to end this. I got some things I want to talk to you about. I got
100%. Okay, cool. And that's fine. I'm totally open to it. One thing I want to make sure that we talk about, because this is going to go out well in time for people to be donating and for people to be volunteering. What's the easiest way for them to donate, volunteer, nominate a family? What's the easiest way for them to do that this year?
Well, I would imagine in the notes there's going to be a link that goes to Cross Country Mortgage's virtual turkey drive.
Yep.
Click on that link, and in that link you can donate, you can nominate, and you can volunteer, all of those things. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't volunteer like today when you get this, you're going to miss your chance, because it fills up in a hurry. Yeah. The second thing is to nominate. And this is something that I know is a core value with you in your life, and I would assume your team, is that we want to take care of ours. We want to do the best we can and serve those that we love first. And so if you know a family who's in need, click on the nominate link, and I need a name and an address and a phone number. And if there's still availability, we'll deliver that food.
It's awesome.
And it is awesome. We serve all of northern Utah. So we're from... I want to say
like Santaquin, maybe
Santaquin to Logan, and then we do the whole width. We do Tooele County, which goes all the way out to Wendover.
Wow!
And so we're doing a lot. The whole northern Utah. It's amazing.
How many families will TGH feed this year here in Utah?
3,100 families.
3,100. That's huge.
We've already fed 600 of them.
That's amazing.
Because of partnerships with good companies like yours. We partnered with Shields, and they fed 300 families out of their back dock in the summer. In the springtime, we call it spring giving instead of Thanksgiving.
Cool.
And then we did another 300 families with Ken Garf down in Utah County, Ken Garf Land Rover.
Nice.
And
they just opened their new store.
Yeah. Beautiful location, and they wanted to feed families from there. Very charitable organization. I was actually blown away by both of those guys, because it was like, of course. I went to them and said, do you want to feed 150 families? And they're like, let's do 300. And I was like, okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's
go. And that's over 10,000 people, right?
Yeah. I consider a family, an average Utah family is 5 people.
5 people. So holy cow, that's more than 15,000 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It adds up. And then across the United States, we'll feed over 11,000 total.
Wow.
In our other families.
Wow.
In our other locations.
That's awesome.
It's pretty cool. It's amazing how it's grown. The question that I would have for you, and you're a leader, Broch. The minute I've met you, I thought that you just displayed such great leadership authority. It's almost natural for you. As a leader of an organization, why is it important for you to plug into a local charity that you believe in?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking and the compliments. I work hard for that type of stuff. We all do, so it's good when it's recognized. So thank you. I would say the main reason that I'm so engaged in Thanksgiving Heroes is, like, for me, family is such a critical part of my life, and I see, like, I'm very inspired by the message that TGH brings, and kind of a lot of the stuff that we just talked about. But I think it's an opportunity to amplify the experience and the love and the family connection during the holiday seasons. But more importantly, by doing this, whether you're donating money or you're donating time by delivering the meals or nominating a family, all of the above, hopefully, for me, my family is the most important thing, and I've been blessed to experience so much closeness with my family during the holidays. I look forward to it every single year. I'm grinding all year long in my business, and I know that there's certain periods in the mortgage business, like Thanksgiving period and around Christmas, that I actually get to unplug without guilt, right?
Yeah.
I know clients are calling, and I really enjoy that. So why I'm so supportive of TGH and Thanksgiving Heroes is we get the opportunity to give that same thing to families that would otherwise, these are families that would otherwise be living this period where everyone else is enjoying time with their families like me. They would be stressed. They wouldn't have food. There would be a lot of angst and not positive emotions. There would be a lot of negative stuff going on without the support of Thanksgiving Heroes. And this is enabling them to have the basics of a meal, but also feel that love that we're talking about and kind of allow that to infiltrate their household for the season, connect their family, and then hopefully pay it forward. Like we said, the law of reciprocity, I think when people are feeling that and they feel loved, they can't help but to go out and love on other people, their family, their neighbors, their community. So that's why I like supporting TGH, and it's it's one of the main charities I support.
Yeah, thank you for that. I was listening to a podcast, and there was a lady that was talking about she had a near-death experience, and she said that one of the things that she was shown in her experience, I know this is going in a totally different direction, but the experience was that she could see her good acts and how they affected people down the line, the ripples of the good act.
Like pay it forward, but in her actual life.
And she could see like a compliment, or when she loved on someone, it would affect 26 deep. Would say, or 36 deep, because I would love on this. You're doing a hell of a job, Broch. Good. And you like, yeah, I am doing a great job. And then you take that home, and then you say something nice to your boy, and then he says something nice to your wife, who says something nice to her sister, and
just
how the
compounds.
ripples go. Yeah. And that's how this kindness works. And I thought about that. I thought about the thousands of families that you and I are affecting on the big day, and the ripples that that's going to have in the world, and how that is more than just 3,600 families. It's thousands and thousands of people that are going to be, we're raising the frequency of the earth almost. And I know that sounds hippie, but I'm a hippie. But it raises the frequency, because if we can do that, if we can do one little thing and we can increase the vibration here, or the love here, it benefits us so much. And it was just an amazing, like it really put me sideways. I journaled about it for quite a while, because it was just kind of an amazing thing. I say that because when we deliver a meal, it's actually 65 pounds of food.
Yeah,
you've carried that box.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a lot of food. And so when you're watching, we're not just dropping off a nice slice of turkey with some potatoes and some stuffing. It's a lot of food. And we want these families to have enough to eat for the week and have the best leftovers ever.
Yep. Because that's really the best. I mean, Thanksgiving meal is good. Leftovers are way better.
Yeah, that turkey sandwich can't be beat. And so it's important that you know that we're not just influencing them for one meal. We're influencing their entire week. And we've dropped off food before, and it's a 20-pound turkey, a 10-pound bags of potatoes, a gallon of milk, all of the fixings for a meal. And we drop this food off, and I can see that these people are not from the United States.
Oh wow!
They're new in our country,
sure, yeah,
and which is wonderful. It's I'm one generation from the boat myself. I'm grateful that my mom had the courage to come over, but I've had people say, well, they don't know how to do Thanksgiving dinner, and I think to myself, they know how to cook a 20-pound bird.
Right.
It might not look the way that we would do it, but this is great food, and they're going to know how to make it work. And we're influencing people that think about that. Your first year in the United States, you're barely making ends meet. You're living in a crowded apartment, and you get this box of food. What a great gift from us as a gifted people. I want to say I feel gifted.
Oh, 100%.
And
we're
helping
so
them out.
Beyond blessed.
Yeah.
It's way more.
I woke up in a castle today.
Yeah, 100%.
Water was running, you know what I mean? Like I could flush the toilet. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I just think these people, I think about them and how it's just kind of a welcome to our country and welcome to the opportunity. The thing that's interesting is that those folks and people that we've helped in the past are now the first people that sign up every year.
Oh, wow.
To deliver.
That's cool.
And so it's become a real pay it forward kind of a culture.
Yep. And you can see it. This thing has grown by accident, right? I mean, that first year, you wanted to feed 10, and then just randomly, because our industry in the real estate mortgage world, the cool thing is it's really surrounded by a bunch of very giving people.
Yeah.
So you were able to feed 755 families year one by accident.
Yeah.
And now it's exploded into multiple states without really any advertising. I mean, this is all just like
word of mouth.
People feel good, and they're like, man, you should do this because it felt so good. And somebody else does it. And now you're going to feed 11,000 families in 4 states or 3 states?
5.
5 states. I mean, it's just so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. It's amazing how it has spread, and by accident is a good way of putting it, because I've never had an intention to run a nonprofit, let alone a nationwide nonprofit.
Yeah.
But I really feel like, and I'm going to wax a little spiritual again on you, but I really feel like that's what God made me to do.
Yeah.
I'm here for this reason. And when I believe that, when I know that this is what I was made to do, I cannot fail, Broch. I cannot fail. Things are hard right now. Not only is it hard to raise the money because money's tight for everybody, but there's more of a need. And so more need, tighter funds.
Right.
Every year there's a miracle that happens. And I'm just waiting for that miracle to happen right now. It tests my faith and has really refined me as a person. And when I talk to people I have people come to me all the time, I'm thinking about starting a nonprofit. And I say, man, that's great. I would recommend, if you're going to do it, join one that's out there already. Utah is one of the most giving charitable states in the country.
Right.
It's reported in the world. Yeah. And there's a charity out there probably for somebody that you want to serve, and get behind those guys and see what's working and what's not working. Starting this charity was totally by accident, and the way
Mom forced it.
Mom, yeah.
She forced it.
My second year, I wasn't going to do it again. I had paid my karmic debt.
Right.
Check that box, baby. And I had a mom call me. Have I told you this story?
No, I don't think so.
A single mom called me. She's like, "Hey, Rob, last year my husband left me and my 2 daughters, and we were on the street, and I had to pay the first and last for my deposit to get into an apartment, and so I could have a place to live, or we could eat."
Wow.
That was one of my choices.
Oh.
And she's like, "Now we're on our feet. We're out of that apartment. My circumstances have improved dramatically. Where can me and my 2 daughters go to be a part of this and pay it forward?" And I just had a moment, Broch, where I'm like, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about paying it forward. It's about providing an opportunity to this generous culture that we happen to be a part of, and give them the opportunity to serve, because this is the only scalable local service project that's happening this time of year. You can go to a soup kitchen, but they're usually full.
Right.
The service opportunities are limited.
Yep.
This is only limited by the amount of groceries I can buy.
Right. Right.
And if we raise more money, we'll feed more families. And so it's been amazing to watch it grow and be scalable and have everybody involved. On that link that's attached here in the notes, you can donate $10.
Right. Donate as little or as much as you can.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
To feed a family for a week, we've got it down to about $80.
Wow. And so you can feed an entire family for a week with an $80 donation, which is tax deductible, right?
100% tax deductible.
I mean, this is crazy.
It's a good deal, and the reason we can do that is because I'm buying 3,000 turkees. You start to get a good deal on stuffing after like 10 boxes.
For sure.
And so we've got a really great opportunity to, number one, people don't like to donate because I don't know where my money's going.
Right.
Like, how much of my money's actually making it to that poor little kid?
100% of it, right? There's 100% of donations go to pay for the food to make it to these families,
or the commercials to promote it, to raise the money. There are some costs associated with creating a world-class experience. Yeah. But if you want to, if I said 90 cents on the dollar, I would feel really, really good about that.
Wow.
And I think that would be generous.
100%.
Because we have to, and that's one thing about running a charity that I learned. It can't all be free. If I want an excellent boxes so that they don't break out of the bottom, I have to pay for the boxes.
Right.
If I want to get the word out there, I have to pay to get the word out there. And so by taking that money and paying, I can help more people. But you have to know that I am diligent. I'm a diligent steward with that money. Yeah. I have a board of people. We're looking for new board members. If they are interested in sacrificing their life in a thankless charitable opportunity.
Feels good, though.
I sold it, right?
Yeah.
It does feel good. It's something that every year, I think it's like having a baby. Every year I'm like, man, this was brutal. I don't know if I'm ever going to do this again. And then in January, sure enough, let's go. Let's get our dates on the calendar, because it is so worth it, and it is such a wonderful thing. On the big day, I always tell people, be careful. Don't come on the big day, because you will be addicted. This will be a part of your life,
right? Because
it is such a good experience all the way around.
It is fun. It's cool. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for being an inspiration for our community and for me, and for doing this. I see you throughout the year, and it's not just the month of October that you're busting ass to get this done. It's like, I feel like every month of the year we talk, and he's like, well, I got this going on, and I got to prep for this, and it's like your whole life. Yeah. So thank you for investing so much time into this. It's a special thing. I know my family and I find tremendous value in participating every year, and I'm sure many other families find the value too. So thank you for being on. Thank you for doing what you do. Everybody, please go on and donate. Just even a little bit helps help any family in need. I mean, it's it's something that I think about, and I'm like, I feel so selfish and ridiculous that I literally go home stressed out some days, and there are people that can't even feed. They have to choose between rent and food. I mean, I couldn't even imagine, and those are the people that we're helping by supporting Thanksgiving Heroes. So please click the link, donate what you can. Make sure you follow Rob. Give them your social media stuff so that they can follow
Rob
you.
for Reals on Instagram. A lot of nonsense happening over there. Of course, we're on Thanksgiving Heroes is on Instagram and Facebook, and all of I think we're even on Twitter. So
you get a bunch of funny videos from Rob too. He's like the master of live videos. So if nothing else, it's entertainment to follow him. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for being here, Rob.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you for tuning in. For more industry insights, follow us on all platforms at Loans Elevated.
And to get in touch with our team, call or text 801-713-4000 or visit loanselevated.com.